Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on our YouTube account and we're going to be looking at the Treasure Scramble and the guide from AFK guys. And overall with the Treasure Scramble, we have about a half an hour till this is up. Make sure you set your teams, guys. This is a big game changer when it comes to the ranking, but when it comes to the rewards that you can get out of here, it is massive. I stay usually about the top 100 or less, which means we're getting a lot of loot in here. But the big thing, of course, when you start getting into these higher ranks, is the big right here. You start getting time emblems. You also start getting Stargazer scrolls. That is the big thing. Now I know to get in the top 100 is incredibly difficult, time consuming. But even if you're staying in the top 1%, even looking at the top like 5%, 6%, you are still pulling Stargazer scrolls out of here, which of course is going to make it much easier to get those Celestials in your hypos. So let's hop over, look at the updated guide from AFK guys. So let's take a look. All right, guys, so here we have it again. Big shout out to the AFK guys, September 2024. And as you can see, there have been some adjustments and some changes. And looking at the substitutes, so we want to start right over here on the Awakened version of Chimera. Now I love this because if you notice right in the bottom, he has the 2-team versions, 3-team versions. So he is actually kicking it off with the team you should use. And then of course, as we start getting into a multitude of teams, it will adjust. Now looking at the corner here, we have the Awakened version of Chimera and we have Braun. Now Braun has proven within PvP to be pretty effective, honestly. Then we have Hilduin and Melion. Now Melion, of course, going to provide all of the Draconic heroes with that really big buff, which is going to go over on some of the heroes, including Hilduin. Then we do have Rimuru in here, and you'll also notice right here that we are running the Owl for that haste buffer within here. Now, the Awakened version of Chimera does very well in every game mode. Similar to the Awakened version of Athalia, PvP does and is no exception to this. Now, if you don't have Braun, which of course he is one of the primary Greyborns you do want to build, we have Kinisa and Rook in here, which of course crowd control, energy reduction, but we also see that there are a ton of heroes in here. So if you are missing some heroes, being able to swap kind of in and out with the replacements is going to be incredibly easy within here when it comes to these formations. Now also note that when you're going through and you're building out a multitude of teams, there is a considerable amount of overlap because there are very powerful heroes that have a really strong power creep that are used in a bunch of different places. That is a lot of the overlap that we do see. Even looking here, you know, when you look at substitutions for like a Melion or even a Rimuru, you can see some of these like Shuna in here is used in different places. Same with Demia, Lady Simona. A few of those will be used in different places throughout this guide, which again, you want to start with kind of team 1, go into team 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. Fill out the strongest teams that you have, even if you're going in there and you're building out 7 teams, and let's say your 6th or your 7th team is not super strong, making, in my opinion, 1 through 5 a lot stronger, a lot more wins and victories out of there versus getting to 6 and 7. Looking at our second team, we get into the Awakened version of Lucius. Now this one, of course, you can see right here, we have Adrian and Elise. They do require a pretty decent build out with a signature item. That is the big trigger. When you have a plus 30 signature item, works pretty well. When you get into the plus 40 signature item, works exceptionally on the entire team. Then, of course, you're looking at Shuna, which is support. We have Gavis in here, which, of course, is kind of like a mage support. Then we have Lavatoon in here as a support. And then Fox Fatale in here for the crowd control. Now, big thing to note with this one is with the Awakened version of Lucius, he requires pretty much as big as you can build him. The better that you build him, the higher you build him, especially with defense. Even looking at additional furniture is going to go into his attack rating, making him an absolute monster. But it does require a very big build out. Now, if you don't have Gavis, you can see we have Palmer in here. We have Amelia in here as well as a substitute. There's a couple different ones in here, again, kind of based on the build. Now, thinking of Amelia right here, or Amelia, whatever you want to call her, it seems like she is going to be used in a lot of different content. Seems like also players are finding her that she's going to be probably in the top 5 heroes that we have for the Celestials and Hypos. So it really does make a difference. Now getting into team 3, Aaron, that is right, the Awakened version of Iran. And then of course, because of survivability issues, only Iran is probably here to stay. It has replaced the only Rem. So if you don't have the Awakened version of Iran built out, you can actually swap Rem in here. That is the old school comp. And then of course, there is our hero, our new hero again. Misha is in here. And of course, The awakened version of Leica is in here. If you don't have Leica, Tamris is in here, Kelthan is in here, a couple different versions. And of course, if you have the absolute monster, so if you're building out some of these heroes from the Draconic faction, which is super, super expensive, this is the Gwen version. So actually dropping out the support, putting in another high damage dealer. And then here's the 3-team version, of course, if that's what you're looking to build. Then we get into our burst team. This, of course, the awakened version of Athalia. There isn't really a hero that does as much burst damage as we see with this hero. And of course, you'll notice these teams kind of change when it comes from Treasure Scramble to Treasure Scramble. That is because of the debuff that comes along with the different versions of this, making it really a variety of the heroes. Now, of course, the awakened version of Athalia, just like Chimera, absolute top tier priority heroes to build. You have to build them out. Now in here, we have Vathiel in here. You can see we have Matria in here. Backline, of course, you can swap these a couple around. There's Sophia, there's Lan, then getting into even old school Zolrath back here, making a big difference. Amelia's in here. We also have Tamris in here. And you can see, guys, the substitutes that can go in here really make a difference. Can be 2-team for Kraken. So if you are an absolute whale, it can work. And then this gets into the 4-version team. If you don't have that awakened version of Leica, you can see Sophia and Leica kind of being swapped with the delay in here, the damage. And that is also true to a couple different places where you can swap those heroes out with this burst combination. Looking at the 5th team, again, the awakened version of Sophia in here. This is one that we see very, very tried and true, works incredibly well because we have the Ice Crown and that provides a lot of crowd control, but also running Naruko in here with Nadia makes a big difference. Damia in here for the survivability. Tarnos, very, very, very strong still when it comes to the PvP aspect with the stone pillars. And then we get the buffs with the awakened version of Sophia in here, really making a big difference. SEAL Team 6, I still love that they call it this. This is kind of the delay team. So you'll notice in here, Eugene is in here. Lan is in here. For me, I don't have Lan. I always put Merlin in here, really good substitution. You could also do a few other ones in here, but honestly, if you're looking at Merlin, probably Taylene and Ivan would be my very solid choices in here when you're looking at building these out. And of course, there are a lot of variations. We have Hilduin in here. The awakened version of Brutus was the original SEAL Team 6 when we had it with Taylene, when we had it with Flora, and a couple other heroes because you have to kill them kind of a multitude of times to really get this done. Kanice and Rook worked incredibly well. Also, Thorin was another one with the seal. Now with this one, Slumbering Seal, the higher, the bigger, the better you build out the seal, the better the seal is going to perform overall, and the more damage you're going to get out of the seal itself. Now Team 7, the awakened version of Belinda, that is right. As you can see, Kragor is in there. We knew coming out of the gate, when it came to PvP, this hero is a monster when it comes to PvP, when it comes to whale builds. I also think there is going to be a couple different places with the buffs and the debuffs that he does that we're going to start seeing him once you get him. Now, of course, Draconic heroes, ultra expensive to buy. It is only the whale builds. You can see all the ones that you can actually swap in here. We have Gineas in here. We have Sonya in here. We also do have Raoul in here. A couple other ones to really kind of swap in here if you don't have the hero, which again, most players will not. But then you couple it right here with our Rock Lizard shielding aspect in there with this team. Super, super strong. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how well this team does perform. And the bonus team is the awakened version of Leica. Now, this is the Zolrath delay in combination with the Leica delay. Works kind of broken within PvP. If you can get the heroes in Leica and Gwen do such an insane amount of damage, very, very fast burst damage. Then, of course, you have the immunity in there with the Panda Dumpty working incredibly well. And you can see, guys, not many substitutes in here for the bonus team, but overall, like I said earlier, I would focus on build out a couple of these really core teams, making sure that you have the basis built for the core teams before you start looking at what heroes you have left. So guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Again, really, really big shout out to the AFK guys. I'm going to put a link down below to their guide so you can check it out. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.